She never thought love would turn into a choice between her heart and her whole world. They didn't raise their voices when they said it. That was the cruelest part. The words were calm, measured, almost polite as they shattered her world into two impossible halves. Choose him, they told her, and lose everything else. Choose us and pretend he never existed. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the courage it takes to stand for love when the world turns its back, take a moment right now to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because they remind us who we are when everything is at stake. Maira had always been the kind of daughter her parents proudly introduced at weddings and family gatherings. At 26, she was composed, intelligent, and gentle, with dark, expressive eyes and a quiet strength that made people trust her instantly. She had followed every expectation carefully laid before her. She studied what they wanted, worked where they approved, and dressed in the soft pastels her mother preferred. She had grown up in a home where love was steady but structured, where reputation was currency and obedience was considered gratitude. Then she met Ayan. It wasn't dramatic at first. No thunderclap, no grand cinematic collision. He was simply the new project consultant at her office, a man with thoughtful brown eyes and a calm smile that seemed to carry patience within it. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words were measured and sincere. He respected her opinions, encouraged her ideas, and treated her as though her voice mattered in rooms where she had always felt slightly invisible. The first time she noticed her heart shift was during a power outage in the building. Everyone else was frustrated and irritated, but Ayan had walked to the window, letting the soft daylight filter in, and started explaining how they could rearrange the meeting to use the natural light. He had laughed when she teased him for being too optimistic. It was a simple moment, but it felt like sunlight breaking through a carefully ordered life. Weeks turned into months. Shared lunches became longer conversations. Conversations turned into confessions about childhood dreams and quiet disappointments. He told her about losing his father young and becoming the steady pillar for his mother and younger sister. She told him about the pressure of perfection, about feeling like a carefully polished mirror that reflected everyone else's expectations but never her own desires. When he told her he loved her, it wasn't with fireworks. It was with certainty. He said he admired her courage, even if she didn't yet see it herself. He said he saw a future where she could breathe freely. She believed him because when she looked into his eyes, she felt seen in a way she never had before. But love, as she soon learned, is rarely tested by itself. It is tested by everything around it. The first crack appeared when her mother found a photo on her phone. It was harmless, just the two of them standing beside a cafe window, smiling. Yet that image felt like evidence in a courtroom where Maira had not known she was on trial. Questions came quickly, sharp and controlled. Who is he? Where is he from? What does his family do? Does he understand our values? When Maira answered honestly, the temperature in the room changed. Ayan did not come from the same social circle. His family was respectable but modest. They had not built generational wealth or influence. They did not attend the same gatherings or carry the same last names that opened doors. Her father listened quietly at first. His silence was heavier than anger. Then, one evening, he asked her to sit in the living room. The air felt thick. Her mother sat beside him, her expression tight with worry rather than fury. They spoke of reputation, of sacrifices they had made, of dreams they held for her. They reminded her of proposals already waiting from families who could elevate their status further. They spoke of how fragile respect was in their community. Then the ultimatum came, him or everything else. Choose him, and they would withdraw their support. No inheritance, no blessing, no welcome at family gatherings. She would be stepping outside the circle that had protected her since birth. Choose them, and they would find a suitable match, ensure her comfort, and erase this chapter as a temporary mistake. The words didn't echo. They settled. For nights afterward, Maira lay awake staring at the ceiling. Her room, once a sanctuary, felt like a cage built of affection and obligation. She thought of her childhood, birthday parties, her father teaching her how to ride a bicycle, her mother braiding her hair before school. She thought of how they had worked tirelessly to give her opportunities they never had, The idea of hurting them felt like betrayal. Yet when she imagined a life without Ion, a strange hollowness spread inside her. It wasn't just about romance, it was about the version of herself she was becoming with him. He challenged her gently, encouraged her to apply for a leadership position she would have otherwise declined, and reminded her that love was partnership, not possession. The pressure intensified. Extended family members began calling under the guise of casual conversation. Suggestions about suitable boys appeared in subtle ways. Her mother stopped mentioning Ion's name entirely, as if silence could dissolve him. At work, Maira tried to keep her smile steady, but Ion could see the strain in her eyes. He never demanded, that was what made it harder. He told her he didn't want to be the reason she lost her family. He said love should not cost her everything. He was willing to step back if it meant her peace, but peace without truth is only quiet misery. One evening, after another tense dinner at home, Maira found herself standing on the rooftop. The city lights flickered like distant possibilities. She realized that the ultimatum was not only about him, it was about whether she would continue living a life shaped entirely by fear of disappointing others. She remembered a conversation with Ion weeks earlier. He had said that real love doesn't isolate you from the world, it strengthens you to face it. She asked herself whether her family's love was strong enough to survive disagreement. If it wasn't, was it truly as unbreakable as she believed? The next morning, she made a decision that terrified her. She requested a meeting with her parents, not to argue, but to speak. Her hands trembled as she began. She told them she understood their fears. She acknowledged the sacrifices they had made. She thanked them for every opportunity they had given her. Then she said she could not choose a life partner based on status alone. She could not build a future on appearances while ignoring her own heart. She did not raise her voice. She did not accuse. She simply stood firm. Her father's face hardened at first. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. They repeated their stance. They reminded her of consequences. But something had shifted. For the first time, Maira was not pleading for permission. She was claiming responsibility. Days turned into a silent standoff. The house felt colder. Yet in that quiet, something else began to change. Her younger brother, who had always admired her, quietly told their parents that he had seen how happy she was with Ion. An aunt, more progressive than the others, gently suggested that times were changing and that happiness mattered more than image. Her father, who had built his life on discipline and pride, began to observe his daughter more closely. He noticed she still woke early to help her mother. She still respected them. She had not become reckless or disrespectful. She had simply chosen differently. Meanwhile, Ion did not disappear. He focused on strengthening his own career, proving through action that he could provide stability. He sent a respectful message to her father, expressing his intentions clearly and humbly, asking for a chance to meet properly rather than being dismissed as an outsider. It was not an immediate transformation, but resistance slowly softened into consideration. One evening, her father asked to meet Ion. The meeting was tense but civil. Ion spoke calmly about his goals, about how he valued family, about how he intended to build a future not in competition with them, but alongside them. He did not apologize for loving Maira, but he also did not challenge their authority aggressively. Weeks later, the ultimatum began to lose its sharp edges. It was no longer him versus everything else. It became a cautious exploration of whether everything else could expand to include him. The day her father finally said he would not stand in her way, Maira felt something inside her release. It wasn't triumph. It was relief, the kind that comes after holding your breath for too long. Her mother hugged her, still uncertain but no longer closed. Love had not disappeared, it had been forced to evolve. Maira understood that not every story ends this way. Some choices do cost everything. But she also learned that sometimes, standing gently but firmly in your truth can inspire others to reconsider their fears. If this story has touched your heart in any way, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs courage today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what love can endure. And before we close, here is a special request. Comment the word courage below if you believe that love is worth standing up for. In the end, Maira did not choose him over everything else. She chose honesty over fear, and in doing so, she found that love, when rooted in respect and patience, does not have to destroy families. It can teach them how to grow.